I'm Leanne Tran, psychologist who's worked with families whose kids don't fit the mould for almost 20 years. I've worked with children for decades, but I know parents are the real change makers when it comes to their kids. Having 3 kids of my own means I know it's not easy. Parent Like a Psychologist is all about simplifying how you support your kids with psychology information filtered through years of experience to take you from overwhelmed to confident. Come on in. Welcome so much to the podcast, Khadija. I've got this beautiful guest, Khadija Blah, with me today. Thank you for
Hi,
joining me.
thank you so much for having me, Leanne. And for those who can't see me, I am of African chocolate appearance with short hairstyle, with a dark red lipstick at the moment, wearing an African shirt that I quickly went and found ADHD last minute kind of thing. And I have Milo here, my companion dog, who is brown and white with an almost love heart nose and bug eyes. Yeah, that's the physical description with a white background of what I look like for those who may, yeah, need that as an accessibility. Yeah.
That's great. And if Milo is very cute, you forgot to add that in there.
Milo is the cutest dog. Okay. I know every person says that about their dog, like how every mama thinks their baby is the cutest, but truly, he is the cutest by popular demand, by all the peer reviews. All the peer reviews were in, right, Milo? You didn't bribe anyone, did you? No, he said he didn't bribe anyone. They're in, he's the cutest. Yes.
Milo has integrity. He did not bribe anybody.
Oh, just seduce them with those brown eyes. Look at them. They're just the most gorgeous brown eyes.
Yes. And I feel like it's I was recording an episode by myself the other day and my dog just pushed the door open, bounded in and jumped up to be. So that's visible on YouTube as well. It just highlights how much all of us have going on as people, but as parents as well, particularly. There's just so much in our lives to manage, and I appreciate that you want to just be really authentic and share what comes out and with the community, because we all have that in common. There's lots going on, and life does not run perfectly.
It does not at all. And that's where then it takes a village and a community to hold you together, to help build you back up for the good days. As my friend Chelsea like to say, we celebrate the rainbows and we have umbrella and gumboots ready for the storms when they come.
Yeah, I love that. That sounds like a lovely friend. And
Yeah.
you and I talked a little bit a couple of weeks ago, and you were at a sports day at the time. Magnificent multitasking as a parent and working. And I think you were even collecting hats for a load of random children. It's sometimes it's incredible what we can actually do all at once, but it does take a toll. And that's where we were talking about the need for community and support.
Yep.
That's the focus of today's episode, I guess. So, you spoke to me personally about that, but you also talk about the power of community and advocacy and support. So, I'm interested from your point of view for neurodivergent families. What role does community play in bringing understanding and resilience?
Oh, my love, honestly, for me, community is everything. I think coming from an indigenous culture and heritage, we come from that communal culture, collective culture, because of the idea that, without community, you are nothing. No man is an island. You get isolated. It allows for so many challenges to be held for alone rather than in community where, you can be supported and poured into. Well, I think for our neurodivergent families and communities, it's even more important because community creates a safe place for neurodivergent families to share their stories, to share
Mm,
our challenges. And you know how much we love sharing stories, Leanne. We do. We learn by sharing stories. We affirm others by sharing stories. Neurotypicals will say, oh, this person was making it all about me. I was sharing this, and then they shared about that. No, ma'am. I was affirming you. I was trying to show you you are not alone. I was trying to share that we're in this together, that as a sense of camaraderie, rather than make a form of shame or make you feel like, oh no, I have it together. We neurodivergent people, we share stories so people feel and know that their challenges or their wins or their doubts or their fears are all very much so valid. And we hold space for the fluctuation of those experiences because we know how quickly those experiences can change. Because I think, like I said to you that day at the sports day, 2 days before, my son had an epileptic seizure at school. Having
Hmm.
to have my community hold space for me on that day. Like today, my day starts, right? We've gone to school. I come back and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a podcast interview. Then I'm going to take Milo to the vet. But then a phone call comes in. Like every other neurodivergent family who have kids with, care plans and their health or disabilities, there's at the back of your mind is always, is my day going to go according to plan? You're aware
Hmm.
that set the most well-intentioned plans, it doesn't mean that is how your day would turn out. And we make space for that. We have been in this game for too long to not make space for that. But it doesn't change the abruptness of those phone calls, still that, that panic, that anxiety at the, in the pit of your stomach. Has he fallen? Has he run off? Has she had a meltdown? Are they okay? What's happening? Have they, we're just waiting. And that phone call came for me. And it was just that panic that, okay, who do I need to call? Okay, I need to call the support worker. Okay, somebody needs to cancel everything else I have. Who's going okay, none of that matters. First and foremost, go to the school. And having gone to the school and come back and have our seizure plan put in place, and then having people to talk to who instantly, when I message, I am off to pick up Sammy in the group chat, they're like, okay, food, who's going to cancel the appointment? Did you have something later? We can call them, email, just send us whatever you have. We will Uber some food. What's Sammy eating this week? What are you eating this week? Those were the conversations. That is why
Mm.
I went from early in the week, from that to sports day. I would have had the
Hmm.
spoons to go to sport day, to present at sports day as a parent with mobility issues, where, as you know, how sports day is set up, it is not set up for a physically disabled parent. They're not set up
No.
for that. They're not even set up for the kids with physical disability, let alone the rest of us. So that was going to be a hard day. I only was able to give the gift of that to my child because early on, my community, Chelsea was on the on text. My friends here, our coordinator was over text. Go, what do we need to do? We went from that sports day later to an award ceremony, which I didn't even get to tell you that day. Later on in the evening, for I was nominated for the community champion award, which I
Mm.
did end up winning. And that, to me, once again, is the extreme highs and low. And I said to my friend Chelsea, there are not many people I can share this with right now. And she's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can explain to people how my week has panned out without sounding weird. How do you go from a seizure? Then how do you then go to the sports day and you're lying in bed now dying for 3 hours in between the transition? Chelsea's interstate with her kids singing me lullabies to help me in this transition. I'm in a dark room like a vampire. Nobody needs to talk to me, look at me, or even let's pretend I don't exist for 3 hours to transition to this next thing, which has big feelings, but I feel like an imposter. Because how can all these three, four things be true with the extremes? But that is my life. And I had
Mm.
people who could hold space for that extreme because they walk that path. The extremes of a great day with a client like yourself. You have done great job with this client who has had this milestone, right, in your session that you have been working on maybe for years, or and then all of a sudden they have this milestone. You're celebrating, feeling good. That call comes from school. You have to go there and do this thing. A support worker is not available. The extremes, they're there though.
Yeah.
Where's the
Yes.
community then kicks in to say, I hold space for your brilliant rainbow on that stage as much as I hold space for when you don't know what time your podcast is and you're asking in the group chat, does anybody remember the day I was at sports day? And I told you guys I was talking to Leanne on the phone. Did you remember what time I said it was? It was like, what? What's this? What? Give us the remember reference sports there. Yeah, yeah, we remember sports there. Is that the day you went to the award and you were feeling really sick and you thought you were a drama queen? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Just let us scroll up and down for a second and we will all find it. But Leanne, that's what allows me to be who I am. I want us to acknowledge these things because I think sometimes we are scared to also acknowledge we have community. That's the flip
Mm,
side. We can actually then get scared that if we acknowledge we have it, people will not think we don't struggle. But having community is not the absence of struggle, it's people to walk beside you through the struggle, through the storms, because they will come. It's about who will be there when they come, as much as who will be there for the good days. For the fact that that day I was celebrating that I was there for Sammy. I didn't even care about the next what will happen next 3 hours after that. It was just in that moment. I am here with my mobility aid. I am here present because I knew 5 years before that we were homeless. I was wheelchair bound, bed bound. So I was celebrating an achievement that wouldn't be celebrated on a stage. But for me and every other carer I know, and hopefully who will listen to this, they will know those milestones are what counts. It was the milestones of the people who I allowed to also care for me later at night when I lied there and said, I am overwhelmed with the good feelings. I actually don't know how to feel about these good feelings. And they said, that's okay. We are here for the
mm,
fact that that also might feel unsafe right now, but it's okay.
yes.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So space. This is what's medicine, Leanne. It's
Mm,
medicine in action.
mm.
Sorry, too
It's
many side quests.
No, no, that is fine. I love a good side quest. My children don't. They are always telling me I need to stop giving them side quests. Unskippable side quests, they call them when I give them an instruction. Um, but yeah, I love your passion and it comes through. And it's you were talking about the importance of being seen by people for when we are achieving things we're working really hard at, but for also when we are really struggling. Um, and it is true that we are more than one thing. We can struggle, we can have highs and we can have lows. And I think a true friend really sees us in all of those moments. But I also hear you saying too that it's the community that allows you to be able to do a lot of those things. Um,
Yep,
yeah.
absolutely. Because resilient comes through collective strength, doesn't it? I draw on
Mm,
all these other strengths that are around me. I'm not only relying on Khadija's strength. And that's why I don't know if you follow me on social media. I have so much time that is
mm,
spent on gratitude on my page, on just shouting out the people who make up my village.
mhm,
Because to me, it matters so much to go, I am not an island. When I
mhm.
take to a stage or I show up at a sports day or I even show up for this interview, it's my carers, who was over email with you to get me back on track after being on burnout and dropping the ball on this. Or maybe divine timing. I'll change that and make that a positive thing and going, divine timing was later today, not then. But he did. He
That's
had to
right.
step in. You know what I mean? Positive. I like to correct myself as soon as I pick up a negative
Yes.
language. I'm like, no, 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 no. Rewrite that right now in action. We did not drop the ball. Divine timing. It's happening when you have the capacity, when you actually are in a space to share from an authentic self, which is just as
Yes.
important. But my caregiver was over email to get me back on track. I had support today with my son to get him to school so I could have saved some spoons to then be here to hopefully have the coherentness I will want, even though I'm a person with disability, but I also want to show up as my best self doing what I
Mm,
love. And I only can do that if I save spoons in certain areas. And that's where my village comes in. So that's my support worker in supporting me with Sammy this morning so we can get him to school. It's the backup of, oh, if anything happened, because as usual, being a carer, my day can change. What will happen for A, B, or C? Because I will be in this space right now. And knowing that means I can be present here. I put my phone on silent so that, too many sensory notifications won't be distracting me. Because I have situational mutism, I could go like at any moment, my body or brain may determine that whatever information is getting around me means that I don't need to communicate any further using words because that is not the best use of my spoons or brain power. So all of that, and even having a backup of how to communicate that if that's the case, my friend has come up with a backup if that was the case for this session. I have people waiting when I jump off to debrief with me to go, how was that? And if I in any way say, oh, I think I used my hands too much, oh, I think I had too many side quests. Any negative talk, they will not stand for it. I will be bulldozed with love and pebbles of autistic love languages from left, right, center saying, "Oh, hell no." You know what it took to get there? Do you know how amazing it's just that, yes, there are gonna be people who see you on mask and showing that not every day is perfect, not every day where you sound like a TED Talk speaker. Yeah, there are days when the speech is there, but there are people who need to see that because that's just as valid, Khadija. Your non-perfect days are just as valid. I don't know about
That's
other
right.
out there as an overachiever, having masked my whole life, not know that my brain was different. I need that. I actually need people to tell me it's okay not to be perfect. I don't know for the but
Yes.
I need that so much, so much. Just like I need people to understand for all my brilliance, I need to be reminded, have I had water? Have I eaten? My tummy hurts. And do I remember that when my tummy hurts, that's usually a sign maybe I'm anxious? Is there anything that's happened or that might be? Because I don't always know how to even place what's happening to me in real time or place an emotion. It's the people who see that whole space for both the brilliance, but also whole space for all the other part of the rainbow, the gray,
Yeah.
the dark, the black dog days, the I don't know where I am or what day it is, or I don't even have spoons to talk. I'm gonna just send you emojis, and that's proof of life. Like we can be honest about that. It is proof of
Yeah.
I have emojis that just say proof of life. They know that is all I can do. That's all I have in the tank is the
Mm-hmm.
emoji. And but it matters
Yeah.
to somebody. They're like, okay, we know they're okay. She's alive. Okay, and now that makes us feel comfortable. We're gonna watch. We will keep track. That is
Yes.
community. That.
Yeah. So, and it's about, you're mentioning so many different things as well. So, physical needs that community help with, but also emotional needs and validation. And it's more than just, it's more than one thing. It's lots of different ways that our community can support us. Yeah. And I think it's nice to be authentic and real as well, because like you say, it lets other people see that real is okay. There's so many people who would relate to that feeling, Khadija, of feeling like they have to be perfect or can't make a mistake, especially parents. Every parent I work with, I would say, has, makes we usually get to a point where they might make some kind of confession of something that they're ashamed of or think they're not good enough for because they've done this thing. And if we don't share that, or if nobody shared that with them, they don't know that everybody else is in the same boat. So, yeah.
It is, and it is so validating. And this is why I want to also talk about how, for communities, also how advocacy becomes a collective voice. Because when I have spent moments in those bathrooms where I am like saying to my friends in my group chat, "Oh my God, I am touched out." This morning, I think I sent a message to Katie from Yellow Ladybird and Chelsea. I think you're a mutual psychologist friend as well. And I said, "I am touched out, and it's not even 9 o'clock." The
Mm,
sacred of that. And a couple of weeks ago, I know Chelsea even made a post then as a result on those conversations that we don't always want to have as parents and the shame we may feel, especially those of us who are female or femme presenting, the touch, the mothers and the carer, the touch out. Admitting
mm,
that we can be all touched out at some point when you've grown up, not being, different ways of growing up than our kids. We love the affection, but we're just people becoming accustomed to affection. You know what I mean? We're just people learning to have people touch us and make touching
yes.
safe. And then to admit that your little people, their needs is conflicting with your need. It's not a bad thing, but it's conflicting. And you need safe
Yeah.
space to say, I am having conflicting needs. So I'm in the bathroom, locking myself there just to have a couple of minutes because I'm touched out. And how then that becomes a
Yes.
productive conversation later of what resources can we put out for other people in this situation so they know they're not alone. It's a friend then turning that into this is it. It's that it becomes collective advocacy. Our
Mm,
vulnerability And not just that we're having them where I say to you, Leanne, oh, these are my challenges. I say to Chelsea, it then becomes, okay, well, then what can we do about that? Well, then we could create a resource then to address that. Okay, well, let's do a post and see who else may be feeling this way. Well, next time with Yellow Ladybird, maybe this could be a topic. It actually turns into collective advocacy and voice as well, because the
Yeah.
personal is political. We can go into the
Hmm.
feminism, but the personal is political. So this personal vulnerability, points of connection, points of collective strength and resilience and story sharing, those are also the foundations for collective action and advocacy and systematic change. As an
Mm-hmm.
advocate, I have to bring that into it. They're all tied and connected. When I take to a stage, it's usually these experiences, the groundwork, talking to people from all diverse range of communities, identities, being part of many communities, that it's been connected. That is what allows me to advocate, to speak from a place of authority and information and being informed, but also knowing who needs to be brought along, who is missing in those rooms. Because we have these conversations, I go, that's not my experience. Wow. Thank you, Leanne, for sharing
Mm,
that. And then the next thing, I'm in a room, I'm like, okay, someone's like, Khadija, what do you have to say about this? Oh, well, I don't actually have something to say about that, but I have a friend of mine who shared
mm,
something, and I think they are the ones who I need to pass the mic to.
mm. Yeah, you were talking, I was thinking how sometimes it's easier to advocate for others as well than it is for ourselves. And
Are you calling me
so,
out? Are you calling me out,
no,
Leanne?
no, no, this is my own personal experience, I think. Um, but, and maybe it's particularly as women as
Yes,
well, that we
yes,
might not stand up for ourselves, but we
yes,
will stand up for our sisters.
yes.
Um,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
It's
So,
easier, yeah. It's actually easier.
yeah.
I struggle to do the personal advocacy because it's personal. The emotions kick in. I feel it's the injustice of it so much. The meltdown comes, and I guess that's where they say the disability be disabling, even if you look like you are functioning because of the dynamicness. And that's why I need advocates. That's why I have my white beads. They kick in. I'm like, you go talk to the other white people for me, please. They're not understanding me. They're not understanding me. Okay, go translate. I cannot do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
See, it's not too much. I cannot translate in another language, but it is that. It is that I need advocates. And I think sometimes I need to say that to people and go, I know you all know me for my voice and my advocacy, but when it comes to the personal, it is hard.
Yes.
I struggle with it. I need somebody to come and hold my hand. I went to court the other day. I had a teddy bear with me. I'm a 36-year-old. I had my plushy toy. I'm a human rights activist. Like, no, I am scared and I'm anxious and my tummy hurts and I just want an apple juice. And can somebody else do the talking for me and tell me when it's over and I can go home and lie down with a warm blanket and don't talk to me for a week. That was me.
Mm,
Okay. And it's okay. It's okay.
yes.
Okay, because other people then have the spoons to advocate for me. Like then when I have the spoons to advocate for other people, it's a give
Yes.
and take. It's reciprocity. We put in, we get out. But
Mm,
we all don't have to have all the spoons all the time. That is where the balance comes in. When I don't have it, Chelsea may have it. Wendy may have it. You may have it. Somebody else has it. And that's how it works. It's a circle. And then somehow we're
mm,
always give and take. And that's what keeps our villages going, which we all have. Every
yes.
chat is a village. People may not think of it, but it's their village. That's where we're all. Where you're sending those memes, those people are your village. Because somebody
Yeah.
eyes, those are that's your village. You may not think about it that way, but those are your people.
Yeah. That's a great thing to ask. Sorry, to say. I was going to ask about how we can create more inclusive communities and do that advocacy, but I think you've explained that well by saying that it's just constant conversations and advocating for each other and bringing in other people to help when we need help as well.
And Leanne, and I probably will add something that is very vulnerable, but has been coming up as a theme in my life. And I have also actually been very lucky that I've had people like Katie and Chelsea, and you now will be dragged into it, but in a lovely way. But it's that support might not come from the people you expect. And I think sometimes we have to be
Mm,
honest about this. I grew up thinking that it had to be with people who looked exactly like me or had all the identities I have. What I have come to learn is that Support will come in the unexpected places. And sometimes it's people who have the same values as you, who you may align with, not necessarily the identities with. I don't know who needs to hear that, but we may put ourselves in a box. I have seen that. I have seen people come through for me who I may on the outward go, oh, what the hell are we going to have in common? Then we have sat down, and the experiences don't even need to look exactly the same, but the feelings they evoke are the same. So we understand each other. Or at the very base level, somebody's going, hey, I'm also a single mom struggling in Queensland. I understand what it's like without having support. I don't understand all the cultural elements, Khadija. I
Mm,
don't understand the racial elements. But what I do understand is that on those days when Sammy has seizure, I'm gonna send an Uber Eat about. I'm gonna order food, and what I'm then gonna do is then send you pretty pictures, and then what I'm gonna do is just hold space and say I am available for anything you want to share. I don't need to understand
mm,
all of it. I just need to be. I hold space. I say that, and it's a vulnerable thing to acknowledge, because so often I think we look at people who go, well, their community will look after them, their community.
mm,
What that looks for each individual is so very different. My community
mm,
will not always look like an African community. My community is a United Nation community. And I love it for that. I love that it's people from all walks of life, cultural background, and all different ways. And like I said, this is where those conversations happen, where they tell me an experience I don't have. And I hold on to that and say, thank you for sharing. I will make sure in any room I am in, I will bring that voice. I will pass the mic to you. Because thank you for sharing something
mm,
I experienced. I am now acknowledging. I wouldn't be able to do that if I am not in community with diverse range of people with difference. Please know that community, your village, whatever may be judgment or shame some of us may hold, whether we're queer, we are trans, we are black, we're indigenous, we are religious, religious trauma also plays a part in it. Whatever your traditional community people may assume you should belong in, if for whatever reason you don't feel safe in that community, that is okay. It's then okay. Well, that is not okay, but it is okay that you choose who then is your community. It's okay you then choose your chosen family or village, and it's okay if that looks different than what you imagine or people may assume. Don't
mm,
let people's perception of who they think should support you be a hindrance to who you allow to support, or who even you support as well. Because I know that people have said, oh, I feel like I can't support you because A, B, A, C. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm a human first and foremost before I'm anything else. And I'm like, well, if I also then said I won't support people for certain reasons, then we all could draw those lines, but we can't. We are
mm,
living in a world where we need community more than ever. And if we can focus on the things that matter to us, our values, the thing that makes you feel safe as a human, that makes you feel at home, the people who give you these things, those are the people you should gravitate towards, no matter what they may look, feel, sound. That is of no relevance. Those things are divisions. They have a way of leading us from a heart-centered approach to a place of, well, difference is bad and I need to be scared of it. No, no, it's not going to get us anywhere at the end of the day. So I want to say that community can come in different form or shape. If your community is not physical and it's online, that is valid. Because I'm so sick of
mhm,
telling us if it's not physically in front of you, it's not real. Oh, baby, the people who care for me the most are not even physically next to me. The
mm,
people who care today, if an hour went by, they didn't get a meme from me, would sound the alarm because I'm the meme queen. We'll be like, she has not sent a meme in an hour. Somebody go check over there. Somebody call, somebody send an email. I will get like bumps on every platform telling me, we're checking on you. You okay, boo? We love you, girl. Just say if you want a timeout. We'll give you timeout. But it says to me, if I was lying here, if I had a concussion, if I fell, I have POTS vertigo, I have a high risk of falls, and I know there are people who will literally make sure I was checked on, and they're not physical.
mm,
Whatever
mhm,
form that takes, if it's your group chat, you better hold on to the people who know that you're a mess in the morning, who high five you by midday, and who are crying with you tears by nighttime again because the emotions are real. Those people are your people. And whatever form that takes your relationship, don't let other people determine what it should look like. We're all neurodivergent. I know this, but neurotypicals will constantly tell us that our relationships don't look normal according to their standards. And we need to push back that our connections are valid in any form or shape it takes for us. I'm okay and acknowledging to people I have a carer. There's no shame in that, because why? because that is support I need, that makes my life easy, that allows me to thrive and access the community in a way I otherwise would not, like even
Hmm.
participate in the podcast. So I am not going to be ashamed of that just because other people may think, oh, so this is what I mean. Please don't let other people make you feel ashamed of your community or your support in whatever form or shape it comes. It's valid. If it's making you
Mm.
feel safe, your body feels safe, your soul feels safe, all of you feel safe and aligned, keep it. Keep
Hmm.
enjoy it and hold on to it and be vulnerable and ask for help and show up. There are people waiting to support you. They just don't want to feel like they're overstepping. And that's a message for somebody who may need it. There are people waiting who don't want to overstep. And that, sometimes they just need to know that we consent to receiving support. So we may need some language around that.
Yeah, that I felt like you were speaking straight to my heart and soul
Oh,
then about giving consent for people to help. It's something that we're not, or people aren't good at. I personally am not, and I know other people aren't either. But I also love, so that for me is going to be a change that I will make for myself. Thanks for listening to this episode of Parent Like a Psychologist. If you found it helpful, please share on Instagram so other parents can benefit too, and tag me at Leanne Tran Psychology so that I can say a big thank you. Head over to leannetran.com.au to join the village for bite-sized psychology tips straight to your inbox. I really hope this podcast has brought a new perspective and you a step closer towards a calm parent and a thriving child. Have a delightful day.